Hi, we're looking to do a draft, and I took a look at the draft cues, and I want to do Modern Masters, and I want to do a Swiss, and it looks like Swiss. Well, I kind of like to do a keep the cards, despite the fact they're really expensive. And I want to do a Swiss because I want to make sure I get a couple of games in, even if I screw it up. And it looks like this one is the first one that's going to launch. Now, the odds of actually recouping my costs on this are incredibly low. And, what? We just lost a player. We're going the wrong way. But I'm not really sure I want to do Phantom instead. And the Phantoms weren't closer to firing. Although if I lose another player here, we will probably reconsider this. But in the meantime, I'm going to pause this until we actually get going. Okay, we've got a 7th player in here. We should start soon. Just want to mention that generally you don't just want to draft a good deck and good stuff, with the exception of the Green Ramp, Kadama's Reach, Search for Tomorrow deck that can splash pretty much any color, and then you're... But in all of the others, you're looking for a 2-color combination, and there's a particular type of synergy in each one. For example, the white-black deck, the best deck there is Rebel Searchers, because you can get a couple of Searchers out there, and then you can just start cranking out the card advantage by searching for Rebels. The red-white is Giants. The green-white is Thalids and Tokens. Blue-white is Artifacts. It's a Esperzoa and so forth. Aha! And we should be going shortly. And so forth. Blue is Storm. Where's my cards? Alright. So let's see what we have here. First question is, did we open a killer rare? Chalice of the Void. A couple bucks at most, so we don't have to worry about that. I think the Cloud Goat Ranger is probably my best. The best card in the pack so far. Rift Elemental I'm not impressed with. Hypocrisite is actually very good. Face Walter is okay in Red Black Goblins. Moth Dust Changeling is Blue Black is Fairies. It's okay, but it's not a first pick. Both Reach and Search for Tomorrow are here, so if you want to be the black deck, or the green deck rather, that goes all 5 colors, and I wish I could just take these two together. I'm pretty sure Cloud Goat Ranger is where I want to go. Okay, now the Rare Slaughter Pack. I have a Rothy Tapper here if I want to move into the Rebels, although that's not a searcher, that's a finder. That's one that gets found by it. Sanctum Gargoyle. I'm going to, while I'm talking so I don't go too far, excuse me. Torrent of Stone is fine, but Sanctum Gargoyle would be putting me into the blue-white deck that mainly... it's mainly artifacts and so forth, but it is the same color as my Ranger, and if this was a Rebel Searcher, I'd clearly go that route, but it isn't, so we're just going to stay here. Otherwise, the removal is all good, but especially the splashable stuff like Torrent. There's more of the that's what you'd be searching for. It's another Rebel, but the other route here is Giants, and it looks like I'm seeing Giants here The changeling is a nice giant. I'm not thrilled with the rebels to search for if I'm not seeing the searchers, but I think we're going to go red-white giants now, which is kind of dumb considering I passed a bunch of red removal. Reach isn't that exciting. The other possibility would be to go for the dust wasp and go into green-white. Sanctum Gargoyle isn't terribly useful there, but well, and there's the Sporloth Ancient. That's the okay. Blinding Beam is okay. All right, I'm seeing no rebels. I'm seeing a little bit of artifacts, but not much. And I'll try this guy. The green-white deck is also fine. So I don't want to get too tied to my picks at this point. And we'll see where we go from here. Alright, if I go green-white, there's a Thalid. That's fine. Sen's Enlistment is not exceptional, but it's okay. If I was in blue-white, artifacts, the Stinger is fine, but it's not that exciting. I don't really want to get into artifacts unless I knew there was something there. But Bound in Silence is basically a pacifism, and that's just fine. I'm more than happy to add that. I'm definitely white. I may be green. I may be red. Hmm. 8 mana is so much. But if I end up green, and I might pick up some acceleration, like the search here. What the heck? I'm going to rare draft. I shouldn't, but reduce the chance that anybody will actually see this pick. Or this. Okay, here's another tapper. Here's a Thalid if we want to go the Thalid route. Test of Faith. No, it's not. Echoing Courage is actually better, especially in the Thalid deck. I think I'm going to go green-white here, and so we're going for the Thalid. This guy here has the advantage. It's not going to make it larger. But basically it it reduces the number of spores you have to pull to 2 instead of 3. Well, maybe artifacts would have been a better choice. But I think I'm behind the curve on that one. Don't really want the Moss Dog. He's not that exciting. The Great Heart might be okay. I have 1 giant so far. I may pick up a couple of changelings. Stir the Pride is the other possibility here. It is so expensive to entwine, but it does mean that your Thalids do a massive overrun. Whoops, and I sat too long. What did I get? Oh, the Great Heart. I guess I'm going to take the Ivory Giant. Chalice of the Void just isn't worth it. Grape Shot I'm not going to ramp up to. Ivory Giant. And Terashi's Grasp is a possibility, although if I can get Crossen's Grip or something like that, that's far better. Whoa, 7 mana? Well, it has Suspend. Now let's go with the Grasp. I don't know. What did I get? Wow. If I get some mana acceleration, I might end up having a decent number of lands, and that might be useful. I'm not going to splash black for Slaughter Pact. Don't need. And again, Kadama's Reach is an arcane spell, so there's a very slim chance I might care for that. There's my Croson Grip. Yeah. Okay. The Thieving Sprite is great for fairies, but I don't see anybody in fairies. This one is okay. If I can suspend it, I draw a card. And Erratic Mutation. Seem to be having some trouble with the artwork. Let's move it to the sideboard, because we're not playing it. Well, it looks like I'm green-white. So let's see if we can open something nice. Vertaloth the Ancient would be a nice one. Oh, Cloudgoat Ranger. Saltfield Recluse is not bad either. Vertaloth is nice, but I have some really expensive junk, and Cloudgoat is just insane. Yeah. I think we're cemented in green-white, sort of. One of the architects I kind of wish I... The Changeling is nice. He's a flyer. He's also a giant, which pumps my Greatheart. Incremental Blight used to be a great way to kill a bunch of things. This is nice, but I don't think it's as good as another creature. Another good flyer. I just don't know. I've never played with it or against it. There's some decent stuff in the Giants deck. If I was still playing Giant, Countryside Crusher would be fine, but we'll go with the Aven Changeling. I think I want the Flicker Wisp here. He's my colors. Oh no. Please let me take Flicker Wisp. Good. The Aven Changeling is fine again, but Flicker Wisp will reset my Cloudgoat Rangers, and there's nothing like having a whole fistful of Cloudgoat Rangers. If I was 5-color, if I'd start with the Kadama's Reaches, I'd have Skyreach Manta is just wonderful in that deck. You can frequently drop him. I have dropped him when I played in paper. I dropped him on turn 4 as a 5/5 flyer. This was good for me. Bone Splitter is also really, really solid. For that matter, Masked Admirers is not bad in my deck. And again, Aven Changeling. There's an awful lot of good stuff here. But we're taking the Flicker Wisp. I hope. There we go. Alright, Pallid Mycoderm is a very good fungus thingy. I can pump all my creatures, or all my saplings with that. Ooh, Lightning Helix too. Going to say things are going downhill. I didn't even notice the Dust Wasp. Green doesn't get a lot of flyers, and flyers that come into play fairly quickly are quite impressive. So I'm perfectly happy getting this guy here. better than Sen's Enlistment. I kind of want to try Grand Predator, but not because I can actually play it in this deck. Just because it would be fun to have. I've always loved that card. I'm not completely sure about the new art, but it's a flying dinosaur. What the hey? Odds are this guy's just going to be a 2-1, which is not a bad thing to have. Ooh. Alright. There's stuff that's not in my colors, but I don't know how much time I have to talk. Rift Sweeper is actually very useful. There are some really nasty suspend cards, and being able to drop a 2-2 that gets rid of their suspend cards is great. The other hand, Feud Killer's Verdict, gain 10 life, then if you have more life than them, put a big giant onto the battlefield, is not at all bad. Not completely sure which I should have taken. Oh. Alright, Otherworldly Journey is good, but Imperiosaur is just really sweet. So, I'm trying to take... I'm trying to use the new interface as much as I can, and I actually like it for drafting, but I'm also very nervous. I had a draft the other day that... I had a deck that was pretty good, and then I got to the final pack, and there was a stab wound which would have been perfect, and I clicked on it, and the thing completely locked up and booted me off, and I didn't get it. And on the plus side, they gave me full reimbursement very quickly. Okay, so my choices. The Saltfield Recluse does horrible things to blocking. It just messes up combat math. Hillcomber Giant would be fine if I was really looking for giants, and if my opponent had red, but I don't know that they will, and I think the Recluse just... I will be bashing with things like Imperiosaur, and it'll make it very tough for them to do blocking things. Okay, I don't imagine that I want the Sylvan Bounty. It's not impossible, but it's okay. The Shaman, or should I try out Incremental Blight? Let's try out Incremental Blight. I'm going to move this into the sideboard until I actually get a Kadama's Reach or something. This is a little expensive, but, you know, who knows? Okay, can't play that. Guess we'll get another one of these. Well, I don't actually have a lot of Thalid creators for what's supposed to be a Thalid deck. Already got 21 playables. Assuming I get a couple more. Boy, maybe I should have taken Verdloth the Ancient. I'm thinking every giant is going to go to the sideboard here. Most of my creatures don't look to be white, so... Oh! Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. I think my best picks... Now, Kakushu might be on just on terms of money, but... maybe Bone Splitter? Bone Splitter is so good, especially with flyers, of which I have one, and maybe a few more. But even if I slap it on Kithkin or something, they get really good. The changeling would make it... Well, I may have got the bone splitter no matter what. Okay, I think I've got the changeling now. The changeling will pump the great hearts, which might be good enough. Penumbra Spider is a very good card. It's amazingly tough to get through. Interesting. I haven't seen any... I'm supposed to be drafting a Thalids deck. I'm not seeing any Thalids. Alright, no sooner do I mention this than I get Tromp, Kithkin, and 2 different Thalids. I think the Germinator is slightly better than the straight Thalid, and the Thalid might lap. The Great Heart, again, would be really, really nice. I have several Giants. And when he's a 3/2 first striker, he's excellent. But we'll see. I'm drafting an archetype I've never tried before. Thalid, the Vivid Meadow, the Let's go for the 4/4. The Dirkwood Bell I found is just way too slow. God, there's another bone splitter. At least 3 in the deck, or in the set? Nah, I'm gonna try and go green-white Thalids. And hope that the Pallid Mycoderm comes back. But man, that's a long shot. I wonder, do I need the 4/4? The forecasting costs more? I don't think the Sanctum Gargoyle is going to make the deck. Gleam of Resistance is not bad. The land cycling part is actually pretty useful. And when you have a whole bunch of guys. But I think the Veteran Armorer, actually, my deck is fairly defensive, and later on, when I get all the Thalids, which is the theory. We're going on the Thalid plan. Okay, if I get a bunch of Thalids actually in play, I can tap an awful lot of stuff with a Sandstiller. And again, the theory is that I'm going to get a bunch of Thalids in play and I can pump them all. Wow. Nothing there I want. Well, I guess we're doing the Kithkin Greatheart Giant thing. Thalid it is. Wow, look at this. 31 cards in the main deck. Worm Harvest is probably going away. Sanctum Gargoyle is going away, since I have pretty much no... This is a problem I frequently had with these decks. I have way too many playables. What I don't have, though, and this could be a really major failing, is I have no removal to speak of, other than the one bound in silence. All right. Well, I think what I drafted here is a deck that's neither here nor there. I'm a lot of giants, but not enough. The Great Hearts are 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 giants. Five if I play Ivory, but that's so expensive. Oh, hey, we're lucking up. Good. Let's take a look at what this looks like if I don't play the Great Hearts. The Penumbra Spider might also be questionable, given that I have a couple of 0-5s, I have a bunch of Thalids. I don't know that I'll need it except to stop flyers. And I'm not at all sold on incremental growth. And then Feud Killer's a verdict. I've heard it's very good, I just don't know. Once again, I have an embarrassment of riches here. I have more cards than I know how to play, how to use or play with. Cloud Goat Ranger just wins games if it hits. I have to cut one more. So my question is, Woodfall Primus, Penumbra Spider. I have a lot of 2-4s. Let's cut the spider. Oops. Now I'm at 22. Alright, we'll put a Great Killer back in. Because Kith can, or the Thalids, alright. No, maybe if I just hover long enough it'll tell me. I'm just making sure the Thalids are actually green creatures. Well, there's a way to put up the preview pane, but I'm not going to worry about it. I have 5 minutes left. Let's add basic lands. 8, 9. That looks about right. kicking myself for not including the bone splitters now. That definitely should have got more. On the other hand, if I was Giants, look at all those great hearts. Have no idea. We will see how this works. Have not drafted this archetype before. So, see you round 1.